So this is interesting because a lot has been made about, this isn't all about money for Varane, and it's all about the challenge and maybe going somewhere else and maybe not feeling valued. Don't like so I'm curious to know what you think of this. I know people have asked you this. How much of that do you think is true? How much of this do you think actually has nothing to do with money and is more to do with the intangibles, like the new challenge, like the feeling undervalued point? Isn't basically feel, because from what I understand too, the thought of feeling undervalued is actually a monetary value in a lot of way, because he's undervalued in the sense that Alaba came in making way more than him already. That's an actual way you can feel undervalued, and it's a monetary thing. So how much do you think the money part actually rectifies this whole situation, and how much do you think a new challenge even matters if Real Madrid can match what he wants?
Look, it matters to him in the sense that he's not going to accept a smaller contract in Madrid, and he's keen on trying a new challenge, trying a new club, a new league, and changing the scenery and all that. But at the end of the day, money is what's important here. Rightfully so for Varane. I've been vocal about it. I think Varane deserves the contract he's demanding, and Real Madrid seem to be unwilling to give it to him. So ultimately, make no mistake, he probably feels that he's been receiving too much criticism, if not from the board, but from the press and maybe the fan base, after his last season or so, especially after his big poor game against Manchester City right after the pandemic last year. And he probably feels undervalued from obviously from a financial perspective, when, like you talked about, like he feels this that it's disrespectful that Alaba just signed for the club and got the money Varane is demanding, while Real Madrid are only offering him like a small increase in salary in these current circumstances, and he feels he should be the heir of Sergio Ramos and not Alaba. And to be quite honest, again, rightfully so in my opinion. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I would say that it's 70% money, and then the rest is his personal feelings after this hard loss against Manchester City, and his personal desire and feeling that a change of scenery could do him well. But ultimately, it's all about money, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the thought of like going to Manchester United, okay, it's not a bad project. They've been good in the past year or so, obviously. He does have few friends there. He has a chance to lead the back line, just as he does here with Ramos gone. He can lead this back line too. I don't know if Manchester's a very exciting place or more exciting than the city of Madrid. I don't know how much that matters to actual footballers who...
I mean no offense to those living in Manchester. I've been in Manchester, and it's not an exciting place to live, in my opinion. This is obviously down to personal taste to many. I mean no offense again, but I definitely wouldn't say that Manchester is a better city to live than Madrid. That's for sure.
I had almost booked a trip to Manchester for that second leg before the world collapsed, and many journalists told me you don't need to spend more than one day. Like, just get there for the game and then get out after, because Manchester is an incredibly uneventful and boring place. That's what I was told. But I don't know like how much of this stuff actually matters to footballers who can't really go into public anyway. So I assume like they can just build their castle wherever and just stay in it. I don't know. So I don't know how much that does matter, but certainly the weather isn't as good as Madrid. Anyways, I feel like maybe that part of it is not even something that he's even thinking about. But one thing that I have thought about is like this idea that because Zidane's gone, maybe he wants to leave too. And a lot of people reported this, really reputable people, that I think it's not that they're not correct, and I think they very well might be right about that. But, how many seasons of Varane's Real Madrid career were actually managed by Zidane? Sure, Zidane called him. He was around for a sporting director a little bit. Then he went to Castilla. He was a manager there. He left for about half a year when Lopetegui and Solari took over. He was still there all those seasons. So I don't know how much that would actually impact it. And it's not like Zidane is at Manchester United waiting for him. And he knows Carlo too. So I don't know. How much do you think that side of it matters? Don't you think that we'd be kind of having this conversation anyway, even if Zidane had stayed? Or do you think that actually really mattered here?
Look, I think it matters, but not because Zidane will not be managing him. But I think that his very good relationship with Zidane has been reported over the last few years. That's for sure. So I think that it's not a matter of Zidane not coaching him, but a matter of how Zidane left Real Madrid and how quote-unquote disrespected Zidane felt by Real Madrid's board for the last few months or so. I feel like Varane kind of felt disappointed by Real Madrid's board and by how they treated Zidane for the last few months of last season. So I feel like, the fact that Zidane is not going to be the coach doesn't matter, but how things fell apart between Zidane and Real Madrid, I think that ultimately played some kind of factor. Yeah.
I think he also can look at the whole Ramos situation and see maybe that could be his fate too. One day is that he leaves in tears and not on his own terms and all that stuff. Maybe not. I do think that while we do tend to vilify Real Madrid's board for not sending off their legends in the way that some fans would like, I don't think it's necessarily better at any other clubs. I don't think you go to Manchester United and all of a sudden the Glazers are this beacon of ethical dealings in the way they treat their players. So from that side of things, that I suppose maybe, I don't know what he's going to expect if he goes to Manchester United. So